Right bracket Chapter 7. Dream Mine. By Edna G. Brockbank. The source for the following article is Hidden Treasures of Pioneer History, Vol. I, pages 204 to 206. Dream Mine. By Edna G. Brockbank. The Relief Mine, or Dream Mine, as it later became known, was located during the winter of 1894-95 by John H. Coyle, Joseph and Samuel Brockbank, B. F. Woodward, Howell Davis and Albert Coyle. It was not located because of any indication that mineral was present, but because of a dream or vision which John H. Coyle received in June 1894, in which he stated that a man appeared to him and conducted him to the spot where the mine was afterward located. They went down into the ground as if the shaft and tunnel were already excavated, and Mr. Coyle was shown, as he declared, all the various formations through which the miners would pass in the natural course of mining. In accordance to the dream, Mr. Coyle explained the dream or vision to Joseph Brockbank, who accompanied him to the mountain east of Salem, Utah County, where a peculiarly formed foothill appeared to lie against the base of a larger mountain. After inspecting the place for some time, the exact spot shown in the dream was found, and the claim was staked out. Right bracket The other four original locators became interested in the venture, and mining operations were commenced by the sinking of an inclined shaft for 40 feet. At that depth, Mr. Coyle informed his co-laborers they would encounter a certain formation. This proving true, they were instructed to change the direction of the shaft and dig another 40 feet, at which point they would strike another formation. This proceeding was continued during the winter until 1911, the men working on their farms and at other work during the summer, and digging at the mine through the winter. After 1911, others became interested and the work proceeded the year round. By January 1914, the shaft was sunk to a depth of 1385 feet. In the meantime, in accordance with the dream, it was decided to discontinue operations in the shaft and drive a tunnel from the bottom of the hill. By March 1929, the workings consisted of the shaft, the tunnel which was into the mountain 30-40 feet, a winze 200 feet deep located in the tunnel about 1300 feet from the mouth, several hundred feet of drift and a small glory hole. By this time the mine had attracted much notoriety in the state as well as out of it. The Coyle Mining Company had been formed and stock was in great demand. Meetings were being held where more than 1,000 people gathered. At one of these meetings, held September 7, 1931, they listened for several hours to a program where a few short talks by officials of the mine were given. It might have been called a gathering of the faithful and the faithless, as the crowd was divided between stockholders and the curious. In the crowd were many saints from the Swiss-German missions of the LDS Church. The huge crowd was brought to attention by a bugle call from high on the mountain. The Salem band played a selection from about the same position. 37 shots were fired, one for each year that the mine had been in right bracket existence. A trombone and cornet duet, "Oh, You Mountains High," was played from high on the hillside. After the opening exercises, a program was given in a splendid Bowery where seats had been hauled to accommodate nearly 1,000 people. This lasted until 12:30. Nearly everyone had provided themselves with a basket lunch, and a lunch stand had also been built which was well patronized. At 2 p.m., another 2.5-hour program was given. In his speech, John H. Coyle, founder and discoverer of the mine, retold the story of his dream, and stated that it was exactly 37 years to the day since the first 6 men came on the hill and began working. He also said that after 37 years of work on the mine, the company was not in debt to any extent. The church and the state became concerned because of the mine workings. The Utah Security Board ordered an investigation. Dr. Frederick J. Pack, representing the state of Utah, visited the mine and took one set of 8 samples from the property, had them tested, and at the conclusion of his report, summarized conditions at the mine in the following words. In conclusion, I desire to state that in my judgment the Coyle mining property offers no encouragement whatsoever for the future. While its formations adjacent to the Great Wasatch Fault are intimately displaced fractures, yet evidences of commercial mineralization are wholly lacking. The LDS Church sent James E. Talmage to investigate conditions, and his opinion was the same as Dr. Pack. Despite these and other investigations, the work at the mine continued apace. An assay office was built, ore bins were constructed, and later a mill erected at a cost of $43,000. A road 2/3 up the mountainside was built leading to iron right bracket prospects. The stockholders built a small cottage for Mr. Coyle and his family to occupy. Mr. Coyle was excommunicated from the LDS Church in July 1948 for insubordination and refusal to acknowledge the established order and authority of the Church. His working of the Dream Mine as a mine had nothing whatsoever to do with his excommunication. Mr. Coyle was in effect operating as a ward of the Church, holding testimony and other meetings, not only without the consent of the local authorities, but contrary to their counsel and direction. John H. Coyle died May 17, 1949, at the age of 84 years. While the company was organized and operated 55 years, the mine had always been on a prospect basis. Dividends of any kind had never been issued. Since Mr. Coyle's death, practically no work has been done at the mine.